We out of left field, it's time to get real with all the juicy hot topics that bring appeal. Like who's a Hall of Famer and who's the best team. Number one up on the power ranking, that's a prestige. Man, the outfield is mine, I'm calling left center. My name is Daniac, a name that you should all remember. Yoni, who you bringing on? Who's the guest spot? They better be bringing the A game. Come on, let's talk.
All right, boys, episode 14. 14 weeks of these episodes, man, and it doesn't get old. Still loving it, still enjoy doing it. Love having you guys every week to help me out. You guys really made this fun for me and fun for the league. So thank you guys for showing up week after week. I really appreciate that.
You know, it was nice to hear, Yoni. I got a message from Jason Korpakin, who runs the DDO League, that he had tuned into a podcast, and thought that was it was nice to hear that it's doing the rounds. Plus, J-Core legend, right? So you always like to hear that a guy like that is tuning in. So
yeah, man, that's
shout out to J-Core if he's listening.
J-Core is definitely a legend, and I'm sure he's going to listen because from what I understand, he watches all the episodes. It's nice to hear. Rosenbaum came to the field and said he hasn't missed an episode. Sean Timsit watches we're talking like players who are not in the league are still watching this podcast because it's just fun. It's enjoyed. And they said, I just wish this was here when I was there, you know, like, so this is definitely something that adds a ton to this league, and it makes it fun for everybody. So thank you guys again.
All right, let's get after it.
You guys are getting ready. You know the drill.
Fogel, smile happy while we play.
You gotta smile. Big smile. All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ah, shit.
Go again.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, wow. That's
locked in.
rock.
If this is anything of how a final series would look.
It's going to be 40 minutes of just this. Oh, yes.
Fogel,
I'm
finally
back.
a playoff win.
We win and I'm back. There we go.
Fogel's first playoff win. Fogel,
he was focused on your series. Now he's relaxed and able to play rock, paper, scissors again.
There we go. His mind is where it's supposed to be now. Fogel, player pass.
Pass the Shiv.
Shiv, you accept?
I accept.
Okay, we got a level 3 here. I tried to make it not as easy. Still very gettable, and you should get it. Should be no reason you don't get it, okay? So here we go. Good luck to you. If you know the answer, raise your hand. Let me finish, okay? Our guest takes pride in his accuracy. Softball seems to come to him naturally. 4 years in the league and 2 championships in that span. Always shows up to the field with his number 1 fan. He can hit.
Wow, this is a good guess.
He can hit both ways with ease. He knows how to deliver. He's a regular on base, a career 465 hitter. He is very intense, and that's a fact. But at the end of the day, he's a real class act. One of the better players at his position that I've seen. Can you tell me who my mystery guest is for episode 14?
So
obviously, that's level 1, and Mitch Kadenoff. And I had it at accuracy, by the way.
At accuracy? The first line.
Prides himself on his accuracy.
The only person that takes pride in accuracy?
No, but he won the event in the All-Star games, and I know you and your All-Star game, you like to get that in there. You like to plug it.
To be honest, I did not even put that together. I did not even think
Anyway, Mitch Kadenoff, great guest. Surprised we were able to secure a guy this busy. So that's huge.
Yourself.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, Caddy.
Yoni, did your ball land yet?
Oh, it landed.
Yeah. I think it's still on the way up.
Wow, man. We're going to talk a little bit more about it, but you know what? That series was probably one of the most fun series I've had in a while. It was just, and it could have gone either way. Honestly, there was one turning point, which I'm going to get into after, and it's a turning point that was out of everyone's control and out of anyone's hands. There's nothing we could have done differently. So we'll talk about that later. I do want to get into playoffs. We're going to jump right in. We're going to talk first about the Tuesday's games. We'll go over that. There are 2 teams that have advanced to the next round. 2 teams have been eliminated, and there are still 2 games left. So 4 teams still up in the air. Later on, we'll also talk about who we think is going to win and who we think each team is going to what the next round is going to look like. I want to start, you know what, since Caddy's here, actually you weren't here for the last game. You weren't here for the PSB Truckers game, which was unfortunate. I don't want to take anything away from Joel, who pitched a pretty decent game. I don't want to take anything away from him, but Joel is not Mitch Kadenoff, and that game could have been very different had you been there, Caddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it did suck that I missed the game. I had full confidence in my team, though. But still, I knew I was coming back, even if we lost down 2-1 and still had a chance. But last night we just didn't bring our A game, and you guys did.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys played really well. I have to hand it to you.
Thank you, guys. We really appreciate it. Hold on. By the way, before the playoffs, right before the playoffs, Maislin gave me a baseball hat, and I promised him I'm going to wear it on the podcast, but I wasn't able to wear it for the last couple of weeks. So I'm going to give it a go right now. And I'm going to give respect. I'm going to give respect to the Mother Truckers, because honestly, they were a bunch of hard-nosed players, and I got to give it to them. You know what? They're a scary team. We did not want to face them. And if I had to start a new series again, I still do not want to face them. So, like I said, I'm going to talk about my turning point afterwards. But in the meantime, let's start off with the Tuesday's game, PSB against the Truckers. Shiv, you were not there. I believe you were on the other field. Fogel, you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, we it was similar to game 2 in that we scored 4 or 5 pretty much in the first inning. Like pretty much every game this series except for the first, we came out firing. And they chipped away. It was about 4-3 at one point, but it never really felt that close. I always felt we were in total control. We were hitting the ball hard. Again, no disrespect to Joel, but we were definitely hitting the ball a lot harder without Caddy there. And we were making our plays, and we were really in control the whole game. The score, I think we won by 5. I mean, we were up by 7, I think, at one point. Yeah, we won by we were just hitting the ball harder, different pitcher. We were making our plays. Portnoy pitching great. That was really the game.
I think unfortunate too that Steve White was also missing at the same time, and Gal was reserved for Mario and Feast, because Caddy, back-to-back champ, hard to replace, but I think Gal's probably the closest thing to Caddy when it comes to a replacement pitcher. So that was kind of a unfortunate turn of events too for the Truckers, I think.
So Mario and Feast did a favor for PSB, and we definitely appreciate it. And again, I don't want to take anything away from Joel, but you're putting in an 11.
No, for sure.
You're putting in an 11, like he did exactly what he was supposed to do. Like it's not like he didn't walk a million batters. He pitched well, but he's like him and nobody else in the league is Caddy. So it's just you go into the game with a much different confidence level when you don't have to face a back-to-back champion. Is there something, Mitch, in that game, in the Truckers PSB game, that specific game, that could have gone differently, that could have changed? Did something happen?
I mean, I really felt we were in control all game. I didn't really think there was one big play, unless you think of something that I forgot that sort of did it. I think all our wins were really team efforts in the series. I can't really look at one game and say, okay, this person stuck out and he just sort of led the charge and everyone else did nothing. So I don't really remember one big play in that game or one big mishap on their part. I think we just hit the ball hard and we played good defense.
All right. Shiv, you were at the bus game against the Bears. 12-7. Not that it sounded like it was a close game. Like when that game finished, us across the field, we weren't sure who won the game because we couldn't tell by the body language who won the game. I thought for a few minutes that Bus won the game. How did it go? How did that game go?
Yeah, honestly, I feel kind of like the whole series, outside of the intentional walk stuff, which I'll get into in a second. Like, it was just a pretty quiet series, and I don't think people were, it didn't feel in some ways like a playoff series. Like, it was just kind of going about our business. And I think we gave up 3 runs in the first inning, and then 3 innings later we were up 5. Kind of stayed that way the rest of the game. They closed the gap to 2 or 3 at one point, and we answered with 2 or 3 of our own, and just kind of held on to that lead. And yeah, 12-7 is not a blowout, but it's another, like Mitch was saying, the game never really felt close. It felt like we were in control kind of the whole time.
And from what I understand, you guys gave Buckman a couple of at-bats. What were the situations?
He led off the game.
Okay.
And then he came up another time. There were 2 outs and nobody on, and we were up 5, and we pitched to him. And then his last at bat is when they had closed the lead to 2. He came up with a runner on and 1 out, and we walked him. And, you know, obviously the boos start raining down, which I think is a bit ridiculous. Like in that situation, there is nobody in the league who doesn't walk him. You're not going to give him one swing to tie the game. I honestly think they let that stuff get to them way too much. An intentional walk at the end of the day is a single. If somebody wanted to walk me every time I'd come up, my attitude towards my guys would be like, hey, if these guys want to give me a hit every time I come up, let's make them pay. I think they got a little too tied up in the booing and this is Bush League, and they never really got themselves out of that or back into the series, and that's how it ended. So
I just want to give credit to Bram, because Bram had the same, if not as many walks, and Bram said, walk me every time. I think it's better for us. So
yeah, right.
like he had really a
Bram
great
attitude. Sometimes
really
there's a
good.
team
Attitude.
aspect here, right? So, and I'm not knocking Brad. Like I get it. It's frustrating and he gets walked more than anybody, but I think they really just let that get to them too much, and it's all they wanted to talk about. They didn't seem to want to focus on the other parts of the game that were, you know, the 98, 99% of the rest of the game. So look, good guys on that team. Caddy played with a bunch of them last year, and they beat my team in the championship. So I know they're competitors, but I just think they let this stuff get to them a little bit too much in this series. That's my take.
Patty, you guys use a similar strategy in our series. Tell us a little bit about the thought process there.
Well, the thought process is unlike what you guys did with Buckman, where you pretty much walked him almost all the time. I only walked Goldstein when there was pretty much an open base. Oftentimes, Jared would get a double. There'd be an open base. And just baseball strategy says, in some ways, to walk, you know, a great hitter like Bram. I've had success against you, Yanni, in the past. You got to me a few times this series, but I just figured maybe I can get you out, and you also have a force play at every base. So it made sense for me. But as you saw, I didn't walk Bram without thinking about it. You know, it had to make sense.
It definitely felt different. It definitely felt different than the Brad situation for some reason. It was the same amount.
At the same time, though,
I feel it was different.
Yoni, at the same time, Buckman saw more ABs than Bram Goldstein in 3 games, right? So, like, I can understand that it feels different, and I get what Caddy's saying. Perhaps it was an open base, but it wasn't a blind walk of Buckman either. Like, bases loaded, you think I just blindly walk him? No, it's a decision. And the decision is, if I let this guy swing the bat, there's a 50% chance I'm giving up 4 runs. I'm ready to concede 1 and deal with the guy batting behind him. So, like, I get that it feels different, and that's what I mean by they focused on this too much. We don't talk about Bram because Bram just took it in stride and said, hey, I'm going to take this. It's good for our team. Yep. Whereas they wanted to just make this about the negative side of it. Hey, take a free single. Nobody bats 1,000 in this league. Right. So
yeah, there's
one thing that's my opinion.
So there's one thing for the record, Caddy, your strategy definitely worked game 1. So 100% you continue game 1. I'll give it to you. It worked, you know, but the one thing Caddy does besides change speed of pitches, perfect location, like puts it where he wants. Another thing he does is he plays mind games, which he does. You do play mind games. You try to get into our heads somehow.
100%.
Strategically throw fast pitches to get into our heads, and then you slow it down, and then you're always constantly playing mind games. For him, it's not just the game of softball. He's playing behind the scenes. He's trying to really like pull the strings all over the place. So tell us a little bit about what you do on the field.
Well, for sure. Like at the end of the day, it's just softball, and we have much more important things in our lives than softball. So, you know, I'm really not ever angry. Like, even when we started, you know, going back and forth with this fast pitches and your dugout got animated, I really don't care that much. Like, but I'm trying to use the strategy of getting, let's say, Kiki all riled up, or Fogel getting him riled up. I'm hoping that might be something I could use to my advantage either right away or later in the game. So everything I do on the field, everything I do is for a purpose. It's for something maybe later on in the game. And every single fast pitch I do is totally on purpose. It's not like I didn't mean to do the fast pitch. The fast pitches are to get into people's heads. Yeah. And I have to say, throughout the season, it worked almost maybe 90% of the time. And I'm just there to win games any way I can.
No, so that's really cool. I mean, not a lot of pitchers are playing mind games. They're busy trying to focus on where they're throwing the ball or getting the ball across the plate for some pitchers. But the fact that you're playing mind games on top of all that, it's definitely an extra element. That's a great thing to have in softball, because you do get in people's heads. You do get, like, game one, you got into my head. You got into my head.
Yeah.
And then game two, I said, I'm not letting anyone back into my head. Like, I really tried to just stay calm and happy, just stay like Peter Pan only flew when he thought happy thoughts, right? So I really just tried to stay clear, stay happy. So that changed it up a little bit. But yes, you did get me. You did get me.
Well,
for sure.
In the end of the day, like I tell everybody, it's slow pitch softball. So it's not that hard to hit a slow pitch. No matter, even if Greg Maddux was pitching, he still can't pitch it fast. Not that he was a fast pitcher, but I have to try to go to a secondary or a third strategy to get you guys out, because at the end, I'm lobbing it in for the most part. So you have to use some strategy.
Yeah, and to your credit, I heard a lot going into the series. I heard a lot of, till Caddy loses a series, I'm never going to bet against his team. So, that's a lot to your credit for sure. I heard a lot of that going into the series.
Well, thank
For
you.
sure.
I appreciate it. And, you can't win every year. I was upset last night, but now I'm happy for you guys now.
Upset as you are, I wanted to commend you. After the game, you came right over to us. You wished us well. You wished us good luck. You shook our hands. That's in the line. And then when you were leaving, you did the same thing. So that was really classy on your part. I know it hurts, and I know it's hard, like to face the people or whatever that you just lost to. But the fact that you just went out there and, to me, it said to me, you know what, he's not just a great player, he's a class act. So we really appreciated that, and that goes a long way. Well,
thank you. Look, we're all in our 40s and 50s, and again, softball is not the most important thing in any of our lives. It's fun, but in the end of the day, we have businesses and families to take care of. So, you got to put everything in perspective. And for the 2 hours I'm between the foul lines, of course, I'm into it. I love it. But at the end, it's just fun. It's 30 years I've been doing this. So I've had my share of championships, and why not let other teams win it? It's no problem.
But now, be honest.
And you know what, Yoni? On the topic of families, shout out to Max Kadnoff.
I was just going there,
Mitch. He has improved so much since he joined the league. Like, it's a real pleasure to watch. Like, he's become a really good player. Like, Shiv, he really has. So
Shiv,
I just wanted to throw that out there.
You just took the words right out of my mouth. Next thing I was going to say is, first of all, it's probably a lot different and a different type of fun to be able to play with your son on the same team.
It is.
That is like a dream of mine. I mean, my son's only 6 years old, so I have time. I hope I can last that long.
Mm-hmm.
But what a dream it must be to play on the team with your son. But not only to play on the team with your son, but your son, I saw how he started in the league. And I see how he is now. And I don't think there's anyone in the league that has progressed at that rate, the way that Max has progressed, especially defensively. I don't even want to talk
better
about
every
the
year.
hitting and his pop that he found out of nowhere. I don't know where that came from, but he can crush the ball on occasion. But his defense, he's really turned into a premier second baseman in the league, and
I think
he's been a shortstop to replace. So kudos to him. I don't know what he did to improve, but I guess it's just the heart, or what is it?
Well, he's dedicated himself more to it. He's also grown up and become a little bit more serious. When he started, he was 18. Now he's 21. But when he started, he was still maybe going out more and, doing what 18 and 19-year-olds do. But now he's working, he's in school, he has a steady girlfriend, and softball's become a focus. And the only games he missed all year when he was literally out of town, he never missed another game. We talk about the games together almost every day in the season. Like, we always talk about softball. He loves it. I think he's been great as well. He's in my mind, I'm not trying to be biased, he's by far the best second baseman in the league. No offense, Vogel, but he's really, really been great, and he's hitting too. So it's a dream to play with your son. So Yanni, you have maybe 12 more years, but it's something to look forward to.
Oh, I can't wait.
Good kid too, Mitch. Like, he's a pleasure to be around, easy to talk to, great attitude. So, like,
he also takes it serious.
Kudos to you there.
Oh, I have to say, Shiv, he talks to me every year. He goes, I want to play with Shiv. I want to play with Shiv.
I want to play with him too. So I
So
got to make this happen.
if you ever have the
Yeah.
opportunity, we'd love to play with you.
Caddy, would you
We
ever
were talking about it this morning. If Shane had been tiered a little differently, it would have been me and the Cadnoffs. But
Right.
I was able to get Benzers, and it just felt like the better construct of my full team because I needed some outfielders. But yes, one day the Caddies and I will be united. That's for sure.
Mitch,
Sounds like a plan.
Mitch, have you ever contemplated captaining a team?
I don't like I wouldn't want to do all the getting the subs and all the background stuff, but I literally coached the team this year when it was on the field. Like Cam definitely did a lot behind the scenes. He made the lineups, but when it came to strategy and everything, that's where I excel. And that's even with Hirsch last year, and Hirsch is great at it too. But even though I'm not the captain ever, I think when I'm playing for the teams that I'm on, I'm making the decisions. And but I would consider captaining if the right scenario came along.
Right, because then you already know what team you're on, and it's up to you to help draft the team. That's where strategy comes in from the beginning. You got to start from the bottom, right?
Yeah, I mean, one dream also for me is my best friend is Kevin Malinoff. So I would love to play with Kevin, and Max is very good friends with Adam. So if we could ever make that work,
Can that happen
it would be
structurally?
a lot of fun.
Can that be a possibility, tier wise?
I think so.
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
it works.
the Mallies, the Caddies.
Yeah. So
Just can't get the whites in there because there's too many pitchers.
Yeah.
Maybe Mitch and Logan, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So
That's a pretty decent middle infield.
It's a great middle infield.
That's some young guns battery right there. Yeah.
And we're both going to be playing with some of our best friends, so it would be fun. Maybe next year we can make that work somehow.
Well, he could get Mitch and Logan. Imagine that.
He could.
It's a whole
Put Logan at third base. You have quite a good infield there.
Yeah, young. Those are the young and up and comers for sure. Yeah. I want to get into the next game that we didn't talk about yet. There's a whole bunch of games to talk about, so we'll go a little quicker through the games. For some reason, Shiv was umping the JB Mario and Feast game on T. What was it? Tuesday you were on T2. Yeah.
No, Tuesday I actually didn't ump. I was there last night.
Oh, so who umped on Tuesday for the MF JB?
Not me.
Wasn't it Steve White? And
I think Steve White did it. Yeah.
Do we know how that game went? Do we know how that game went?
It was a walk-off win for JBC. I think it was a bit of a back and forth. I think it was a bit of a rough defensive showing from Mario and Feast. From what I understood, there were some errors in the outfield that might have proved costly, but to their defense, they hung in there. And I showed up just in time to watch Patrizzi with the walk-off sac fly to right field. Vet move. He came up there. He saw a pitch he liked. He knew he could elevate it, threw it out into the outfield, and won them the game. So Patrizzi is a beauty. So it was nice to see. And then
it up towards the end of the year a little bit.
Yeah, he's playing well. He's playing really well. He played well last night too.
That series is very back and forth as it's going 1-1-1-1. We'll get to that next game. Let's talk.
Shockingly, Yoni.
Yeah.
JBC has lost both games on T3 and won both games on T2. You wouldn't think that.
That's very weird because JBC would figure is the most dangerous.
All those lefties. Yeah.
On T3. Yeah. Let's talk about the Ezerzer Flint Tropics on Tuesday. Now that was a very close game. A little bit of a heated game. Score was 14-13 for the Tropics. Mitch Fogel, you are umping the play. Tell us a little bit about that game.
Yeah, that game, it was definitely heated. It was a really tight game. There was a lot of energy. There was a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of back and forth during the game. There were a few errors made here and there, but it was really a back and forth. It was a back and forth game, and at the end of the day, Brad's team came out on top, but it felt like they were ahead much more. There was one point in the ninth inning, Barth came up, and someone said, "Oh, he's a tying run." I literally thought like Flint was up 6 or 7, so I was a bit surprised, and I saw the chance to finish it off, and he grounded out to feeder, and then the heated part started happening, but. But at the end of the day, it really felt like Flint was in complete control. It was a bit of back and forth, and they had a chance to win though in the end. Gal's team.
Let's segue that into the Ezerza Tropics game yesterday. We're gonna go to yesterday's game. Tropics coming into the game up 2-1. They need a win to solidify their spot in the semifinals. A loss would tie it and send it to the fifth game, to game 5. Ezerza pulled that out 10-8. Now, from what I remember, the game started off 7-0 for the Flint Tropics, and it was literally 7-0 until the 6th inning, I believe, or the 4th inning. Sorry, in the 4th inning, Ezerza came back with 6 runs, made it 7-6. The Tropics ended up scoring a run, and then 9th inning came, and they
big hit from Ed Stock. Ed Stock stepped up.
They were down 1 run. They were down 1 run. They scored 3 runs in the top of the 9th to go ahead 2 runs. Very clutch. We actually have a whole bunch of highlights that I'm going to show from that game. Right after we talk about that, we'll put on the highlights. We have a highlight of a few highlights. We have a big strikeout and a big moment highlights, which I'll let you guys watch soon. We had some big hits, including Adam Talk with a big hit, who was struggling a little bit the first couple games. Yesterday, he ended up going 3 for 4, I believe. Can we pull up that score sheet right now for the Flint Tropics?
It's on it. You should see it.
No, I just see the page of the latest scores.
Oh,
maybe you have to scroll.
All right, sorry, maybe I fucked up.
No problem.
Here, there we go. See you now.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So Barth, no hits. Malinoff, 1 hit. John Gal, 1 hit. Eric Hassan, 1 hit. And like, what are your chances of winning a game when your top 4 players have 3 hits? Right?
Yeah.
Your top 4 players have 3 hits, but you still pull out the victory. What does that say?
And like it was similar to the last game. I felt like their top players, Mally, other than Mally last game, it was very similar. It felt sort of that their top players weren't getting hits again, other than Mally. So they're lucky to be in it.
Top is struggling so much against Flint Tropics. Is this literally a like a primo pitch thing?
I don't think so, Yoni. Honestly, like from umping the game last night, like Brad made a great play on Eric, I think, in the 8th inning to secure the game as a tie, like a diving play to his backhand, and he made a nice throw to second base to get the force out. Like Gal hit the ball hard a couple times. Barth hit the ball hard. Mally was crushing the ball. Darren was making plays all over the field, 300 feet away. You know, it's Exec. Sometimes your best hit ball is an out, and your worst hit ball is a hit. So, I don't think it's necessarily a knock on those guys. I think Flint has played good defense, and Brad has always been one who's good at, the shifts and knowing where to position guys to give them the best chance to make outs. And I think he did a good job of that yesterday as well.
Mitch, have you watched these teams play at all?
I've Flint and Ezerza. I've seen every game.
Yeah, Caddy, have you? Seen
other Mitch. Sorry,
this is the second time we have 2 Mitches. Caddy, have you seen these guys play?
I've seen everybody play, but who specifically?
No, I'm just saying that. Have you seen the Flint Tropics play? Did you believe that they would push 5 games?
Not really, to be honest. They had a bad regular season, and their lineup doesn't scare me. But I guess you never know. Like the playoffs is a crapshoot, so everybody gets to start off at 0-0, and it's a rebirth for teams. So Flint Tropics, one thing they have, like you guys have, is a lot of energy, and that can go a long way.
Yeah,
so 12-12
help in the playoffs. Seems to be the
12-12 great equalizer, though, eh? Yeah, that's the other thing with regular season. You can be 10 guys, bunch of subs, and playing against a team with 12. And so, regular season, while it does mean something, it's 12-on-12 is certainly a great equalizer in this league. So
did Ezerza usually go like under 12 when they played during the regular season?
Yeah, they were always missing like Caparici or like Hillary. I remember missed a lot of games. I think he missed 5 or 6, and
Okay, so that's a big
they were always missing. Every time we played them, they were 10 or 11, and I think I've seen them the most. I've ended up, I think, umping them a ton of games, so they were always
Kevin Malinoff, perfect attendance though. Kevin Malinoff, perfect attendance. 23 of 23. Good for him.
Yeah, good for
That's
him.
my kind of player.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Mario and Feast, JB, Shiv, sorry, you were there, right? You did that game yesterday?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about
I did that game.
17-13 for Mario and Feast.
Kind of crazy. So Mario and Feast jumped out to a 14-2 lead in the third inning of that game, or the fourth inning of that game. It seemed like it was over. To the credit of JB and like I want to call out Tony and Max Morgan, they never really conceded that the game was over, and they just said, "Look, like let's chip away." And Max with his ones and twos from first base, and just said, "Let's get it done." And they actually closed the game to a 2-run game at one point. Gal played great for Mario and Feast. I think he was 4 for 5 with 2 doubles. Barth hit the ball really well for them. Epstein had, I think, 3 hits. Their subs, and I'm not saying it was only their subs, but their subs certainly came to play for them, which is obviously a nice thing in a playoff game. And they were able to hang on at the end. Gal pitched. Gal pitched well in that last inning. I think it was the top of their order, and he got 2 infield pop-ups and an infield groundout. So he was able to neutralize the top in the top of 9, and they were able to hang on. So it's been a good series, very back and forth. Another one that I think was closer than I anticipated. I think Mitchie Foe saw this coming, but for me, I thought that JB's bats were going to be too much for them. But they to their credit, they've hung in there.
I actually think that has been the closest series. I definitely would have thought ours was. And our games were all tight except last game, but this has definitely been the most back and forth, closest series, and it's going to game 5.
Let's not look past the fact that, well, I mean, that Ryan Frankel has been a beast. He's been an absolute beast.
Jacob too, by the way.
I think he's
Jacob and Kobe with 2 massive home runs for those. So the kids came to play last night. Jacob had a huge home run to center field, and then Kobe absolutely tattooed a ball to left field. Like one of the best hit balls I've seen all year.
I think Ryan Frankel's been on base. Ryan Frankel's been on base every time except for 2 or 3 times, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was, since he got better from his COVID, he's been on fire.
I've played with Ryan Frankel for maybe 15 years, and this should come to no surprise to anybody who's ever played with Ryan. He is as a gamer gets, and when the stakes are high, Ryan really comes through. So no surprise there.
Agreed with that. Yeah, played against him for those 15 years where you were with him, Caddy, and I've been on the losing end of both of you in a series many times. So
yeah,
okay.
he's great.
Caddy, tell us a little bit about the 15-3 game yesterday. PSB against the Truckers. How did it when you guys came into the game? Like, did it seem like you guys were ready to go? Did you feel it? Tell us a little bit about the game also.
Well, I felt throughout the series your team had more energy than ours. That doesn't mean that you're going to win, but definitely the energy level was higher on your team, which is not always so great going into the game. And honestly, I think the game almost turned in the first inning, where you guys, I don't know if it was the first or the second inning, you guys got a couple of runs on some errors, and we didn't hit all the whole game, and it got more and more frustrating throughout the game. It was 2-0, then it was 4-0. I think it was 7-0. And I think by the middle of the innings, our team got depleted, and we got depressed, and we basically, I think most of us felt that it was over. We had some clutch situations where some of our key hitters came up, and we just didn't come through. So it just, we gave it a good effort. It was not such a blowout. It was 7-3 going into the 8th. So we were striking distance, but we just didn't have it. We didn't have it.
Cam, who was probably, I don't want to say because I don't know for sure, but definitely up there, top 2 for MVP candidates this season. He didn't have his MVP candidate playoffs, I don't think.
No, well, Cam was absolutely great all season long, and I still think if you looked at the stats, he probably hit well over 500 in the playoffs. But that just goes to show how good he is, because we're talking about a player who maybe didn't have a great series, and he still hit over 500, and that's how good Cam is. Cam was amazing.
Rich had a tough time also.
Rich had a tough time, and I'm not sure why.
Cleveland.
I've been saying for a couple of years, 'cause I played with Rich last year, he's one of the top 5 players in the league. I think he's a great hitter. He's versatile. He can play anywhere in the infield, outfield. But you know what? It was a bad time for some of our guys to hit a bit of a slump, and that's kind of what happened.
What's weird for me about Rich is he's probably one of the most powerful, like, swingers, hitters. The ball flies off his bat, but he has almost no extra base hits. Like, all his hits are singles, which is very weird to me because he hits the ball harder than anyone. Like,
he hits line drives though, right? Like, he's not, unless it finds a gap. Like, but having umped a lot of games that Rich plays, when he hits a ball, it sounds different. Like, his swing is violent and it's on plane, and he just hits the ball really, really hard. He's a phenomenal hitter, Rich.
He is, absolutely.
Phenomenal.
I agree 100%. Yeah. It just, listen, it's got to all come together in the playoffs, and if it doesn't, you're in trouble, and that's it. Like, some players came and some players didn't on some days, and then it was different on other days, and you just got to all show up to win games. And
I'd like to point out also, Yanni, that like last night, your best player, which is Jared, I don't think he had a very good game, but you guys still scored 15 runs. So it was a really good team effort, and I know that Kiki came into the series struggling, but he still managed to get his hits throughout the series. I think
he was great also.
Yeah, he was great. Fogle, I think, had a disappointing regular season, but he led off for you guys and got on base a lot of times. You guys had a good series. It was a team effort all the way through. You played great, Yanni. You made a catch in game 1, a pop-up that you caught. That was a diving catch. It was certainly one of the better plays I've seen all year. And you know what? I think on paper, you guys were a bit better than us, to be honest. It was still close, but you have a little bit of a better team, I believe. And let's not forget Portnoy, who not only pitched great, but he hit great. And I know he looks up to me, but maybe I got to start looking up to him because he was great.
Well, one of the most respect things that
you're in the Hall of Fame, he's working his way. So
yeah. Once you said you asked to sub for us, and you said, "Caddy, you can't sub for me," and you were surprised that he really liked that. That's for sure. And honestly, the way he's been playing this year, I agree.
Okay, so
he's been amazing.
We don't have much time, and I don't want to get cut off this week. So I'm just going to say my turning point for that series, by the way, was game 2 getting rained out in the 4th inning. Had that gone one more inning, if PSB just argued a little bit less and didn't spend all that time, it would have got to the 5th inning. You guys would have had the lead, and that would have changed the whole series because we could have been down 2-0 going into the next game, and the series is very, very different. So Mother Nature was on PSB this year, so we'll take
that role should change.
That
role should change next year.
Like I said, it was out of your hands. Quickly, I'm going to get from each of you. There's 2 games next week. Who's going to win? Ezerzer and Tropics. Caddy.
I say the Tropics.
Tropics. Shiv.
I'm going to go with Ezerzer.
Ezerzer. Fogle.
Going Tropics.
Tropics. So it looks like, according to that, the Bears will be playing the Tropics next week. Mario and JB. Caddy.
I'm going to go with my good friend Steve White here and take Mario.
Mitch.
I said Mario in 5, so I got to stick with it.
Shiv.
I'm going to be the outcast again. I'm going to take JBC.
Well,
I think
Mario is going to play PSB. Anyway, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And here are some bonus footage highlights of the Team Ezerzer versus Flint Tropic Game 4 on Thursday. Enjoy. Now, first and second, Mitch White intentionally walked to get to Zach. Zach pops it up, and that's foul ball. Big spot right here for Zach. 2 outs. John Gal on the mound. Pitch is off. Swing and a miss. Zach Wise strikes out in a big spot.
I got 3. Let's go, boys. That's it. We got to take the lead here. Let's go. Let's keep moving the ball hard.
Everybody's got a hit. Let's go. Huge gap. Huge gap. Second and third, 1 out.
2 innings in a row, they had a runner on third with us as well. Yep. Didn't score.
That's a great base run.
Did he get hurt in the last game? It's because he subbed the game before in the crazy heat. Talk up, man, on second and third. Let's see what Talk's gonna do.
Let's go. Be aggressive, boys. We talked about that. Let's go. We want to hit.
John Gal. Pitch is coming. Talk hits it. Gets through. We have runners rounding the base. Talk knock 1 to 2. Now goes to 2. An extra run scores. And that's going to cash 2 runs. And now Tropics are up 3-0. 3-0 on that hit by Talk right through the middle.
Shift on who? Darren, pull the ball. They're playing somebody in right field.
1-1.
But there's no second baseman either. I don't know.
And that ball is hit opposite and caught by Aviad. But that will get the runner to third.
Perfect.
Man on first and second. I believe we're the third, maybe fourth inning. Jordan Benson at the plate. Mark Primo just got a hit. Joel got a hit right before him. And now it is Jordan Benson's turn. Called strike. Nice pitch. Oh, my mistake. The first one was a bit inside. The second one was a strike. 1-1. That ball is up. And Benzer stops at, goes to 2. And Primo, I missed that. Primo is safe at 3. I just missed that. Jordan with a double. They score a run and it's 1-0. Primo with the play, slides. And I'm going to take the lead. Zerzer just came back 4 runs. Richler up. Man on first and second, 2 outs. He would be the tying run in the 5th or maybe 6th inning. Big hit for Richler. Richler going to second. Richler going to third.
Hey boys, I wasn't thinking about getting all back in 1 inning without.
Let's go, Kev. All right, Mally, let's go, baby. Let's go. Good night, buddy.
Let's pass and run.
Trouble, Kevin. Get here. All right, boys, get in. Here we go, defense.
Hawk just called out at home. He ran for it, even though the shortstop had the ball. So they ended up only scoring 1 instead of what would have been guaranteed 2.
To Johnny. Nothing.
Would have been 2 runs right there, but instead it's only 1. Peter was not happy.
Look at this fucking guy. Look at this. That's good. What? That was a mistake. Good defense.
Sunday we went out with practice to get ice cream. Like Cheval paid all that, then 1, 2 walk in, then 7, 8 guys come in, and then his kids come in, and like they're all, we'll take that. No. I didn't want to get back to him that I didn't take the kids, you know, it's not right.
The kids told me though, like, Jason's gonna afford it. Wait, tell them to wait, I'm on my way.
Oh, you're right away, okay.
No, I'm on my way.
Bounce foul. I think he touched it, right?
That one would have stopped.
Waiting.
Yeah, Johnny Bell. That's it, buddy. That's it, Adam Malinoff.
Hillary, what inning are you?
Tying run at the plate. 6th or 7th inning. Malinoff just hit a double. 3-0. Eric has 2 walks already, and this could be his 3rd walk of the game. I have a feeling Eric doesn't want to take another walk. And that's 2 strikes on him, full count. Jordan made the catch. No tag. Great play. Top 8. Down 1. Azur's down 1. Richler just hit a triple. He's the tying run. The go-ahead run at first base. No outs. Barth just walked. And here comes Malinoff in a big spot with a chance to tie the game and possibly take the lead. And he pops it up. Brad calls for it, and he is out. That's a big out. As the tying run was on 3rd, but there's 2 outs now. And Eric Hassan on base. Now, Eric Hassan has 2 walks. He's 0 for 1 with 2 walks so far this game. This is his 4th at bat.
Here we go.
First pitch, no good.
That's it.
Hey, how are you?
Let's go.
I just got back from the gym and saw the nursing game.
Yeah, buddy.
Who's winning?
Great team is winning by 1 at top of the 8th inning. They have the tying run on 3rd right now.
You guys play football here?
Yeah!
Oh. Brad makes the play. Play was called. And that's a fielder's choice. And they don't cash in that tying run at the top of the 8th. That is big. That is big.
Let's go.
Top 9. Zerzer down 1. John Gale up. No outs. No one on base. He hits the ball up. Looks like it's going to drop, and it does. Stopping at first. And that's a leadoff single. The tying run is aboard. Aviad up next. Now Aviad with a big hit can tie this game in the top of the 9th.
Cut off at the end.
What was the prediction for us?
Power hitter, too.
Yeah, power hitter for sure.
Power or a double play?
Let's see what's going to happen here.
So the zoom cut off.
So there was never a prediction for
There's
us.
1 and 1 on Aviad.
Good episode there.
Yeah, cut off at the end.
You're saying the clock management was off again.
right, we only have 2 minutes left, but I want to talk about 8 things. You don't know. I just wanted one-word answers. That's what I wanted.
You gotta say it then.
It's okay, we only missed one.
Ours.
Don't have to poke any bears. Swing again. That's a second foul. Now there's 2 strikes on Javier. No outs. John Gall on first base. Your bat, the chance to tie the game here in the top of the 9th.
Oh, so this is not your bat, but it's the same weight.
Javier hits the ball and it's up. And it's deep. It looks like he's camping under it. Makes the catch. John Gall running to 2. It's going to be a close play. He's safe and in there. Calls time. 1 out. Time run at second. They're going to take a strategic, I'm assuming. And who's going to run for him? It's going to be Eric Hassan running for him. Hassan is now the tying run. 1 out.
He gets thrown out, we don't talk about the next 3 months.
1 out here. 1. Tying run on second.
Stock's a good hitter.
Yeah, he sure is.
If it gets stuck, it's a hit here.
I say Stock hits. A hit is a tie. A hit ties the game, in my opinion. With Eric running. Let's see what happens. This is where clutch comes out.
It's pretty clutch. He doesn't want a season to end.
That ball is hit up high. And Jordan misses it. And Hassan is going to score. And Ed gets to second. And that's a tie game right there. With a minute left, that's a tie game.
That ball was catchable.
Now, Kiki. Clutch Kiki. It's automatically walked. They put Darren up. The man on first and second. It's not the winning number, it's the go ahead. Edge is the top.
Top of the wing, okay.
Yeah. Stop it. Let's go ahead. We're not winning. Yeah.
Go ahead.
You can say whatever you want. For sure. Big at bat for Darren right here. Possibly give him the go ahead. That ball's high.
Who's that, Darren?
Good eye, buddy. That's it. That's it. All right, Darren.
That ball is good. And that gets through. And Stock is going to run home. And that's going to score. Big hit by Darren.
Way to go, Darren. That's the fucking all-star we know. That's it.
And Ezerza takes their first lead of the game. Top of the 9.
Keep it going.
The runner that they walked
They still have the
is
ball.
now in scoring position. Now we have Ephraim Harte.
I don't know.
That's a ball.
Ooh, good try, good try, good try. Good look.
Game 5. Don't want game 5. Urgency. This is our game 5.
Ephraim pops it up, and that drops. And now Kiki's going to score, and he's injured, man. He's injured.
He's injured. Oh, you're just doing a commentator.
2 outs. Ezerza up 2. Ezerza up 2. Game 4 to send it to 5. Mitch White down to their last out. The ball goes up, and that should do it. Big comeback. Big comeback for Ezerzer. Big comeback for Ezerzer. Game 5, Tuesday, 7 o'clock. See y'all there.